My name is Paul McManus. I am the CEO and founder of a company called The Short Book Formula. We help financial advisors write, publish, and market books in order to grow their practices. Yeah, it was just, I knew the power of books, and I was just looking for more opportunities to speak in front of my ideal clients. And so I have a podcast, but I also realized that in having your own podcast, there's a lot of work. You have to build an audience, etc. And so I was looking, so I love the idea of guest podcasting because it allowed me to leverage the audience and the trust that the host had already created with an audience, and to be able to get my message out in front of the people, my ideal audience, right? And so I know there's a huge difference between someone listening to me speak, whether it's in person or on a podcast, and then coming to schedule an appointment with me versus trying to do any kind of cold lead generation. And so I was excited for the opportunity to work with a company that could make that process seamless. Yeah, absolutely. So it's been since I've worked with you guys, it's been a complete game changer. And what I mean by that is that it's been very nice working with you, but from an ROI standpoint, I find it interesting with podcasts. You can do using a baseball analogy, you can hit some singles, some doubles, some triples, maybe a home run. But you guys helped me hit a grand slam home run. There was one podcast in particular, I won't mention the name, but it was the biggest influencer in the market that I am in, or at least my clients are in. And so I like to say that this was like my Oprah or my Joe Rogan moment, in terms of a niche I got on that level of show. And once, and you guys set it up, right? I'd actually applied to be on their podcast myself, crickets. You guys set it up effectively. After that one episode launched, I got, over the next 3 months, I had 60 appointments on my calendar with just really high quality prospects. I easily, sold multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars just in that limited time frame as a direct result. So my ROI has been astronomical. And then just the longer term benefits of that single episode, or that there's so much credibility with that host that's kind of the centerpiece of my marketing now. And so yeah, it's been fantastic. I guess to hit a grand slam, I wasn't expecting a grand slam. I was expecting some base hits, but to get a grand slam, so to exceed my expectations was great. Yeah, so before I started working with you, I worked with another guest podcasting company, and so I already saw the value of guest podcasting, but the relationship with them had kind of run its course, and I can just say in comparison that I really do enjoy working with you guys. Actually, as part of my own business in helping advisors write books, I now, as part of my recommended strategies to my own clients, I quickly introduce them to you guys because I have a level of confidence in terms of the quality of podcasts that you can book, in terms of your customer care and support, the strategy that you guys help provide. And so you really have a very nice all-encompassing package that makes me feel very comfortable when I turn my own clients, when I make those referrals, there's always a little bit of risk there. And so I intentionally refer them to you versus any other company. For those reasons, just I have a lot of confidence in the results that you guys deliver, and I want to, and I strongly believe in guest podcasting, especially when you've just written a book and you're now an author and you're trying to get in front of the right audiences. To me, it's just one of those next logical steps. And I've also realized that I don't want to personally own or run a guest podcasting agency. And so I was just looking for a strong strategic partner who I had confidence in, that I could refer people to and not worry about any negative blowback, but instead just get, hear positive things as a result. Yeah, and this may sound self-serving, but it's not intended to be. but it's that I am a big believer in what I would describe as authority marketing. And I believe that being an author and then speaking go hand in hand. And this has just been my experience, and this has been my clients' experience, is that when you have a core message that you can deliver, and it can be delivered in multiple formats, whether it's in speaking format as a podcast guest. I mean, that's really more of a delivery, but you have to have that core message well defined that even after the interview, people that are interested can come circle back and check you out. And so that's been my secret to success, is that I get on partly because I'm a best-selling author. I get on better podcasts. I talk about the content of the book, which is the core message, and then my call to action is so simple. It's okay. So for someone that's listening to this and would like to learn more, feel free to go to my bookwebsite.com. You can get a free audio version of the book, and if it makes sense to schedule time, my calendar information's there. I mean, that's like the pitch. Everything else is value, and just with that one grand slam that I mentioned before, that created in 3 months 60 appointments with them coming to me, right? Scheduling on my calendar. Everyone's super nice, super high qualified, or very qualified, and so I just love the approach. But I think in my mind is that you can do podcasting or guest podcasting by itself, but if you marry those two things together, your results can be that much better.